Good morning, real estate fans. Alice Lema here again, broker John L. Scott, Southern Oregon. And today we are doing our podcast and we're so excited. We're getting great feedback. So definitely give us a like, give us a comment, share it with your friends. Because today's episode, we're going to talk about buying and selling at the same time. And it can be a real experience because your head might feel like it's going to explode. But I want to give you 5 tips to get through it. So, first of all, understand your market conditions because the market conditions are going to dictate whether you get your house ready and on the market first and then go look for a house, or if you're going to start looking for a house and get your listing, the house to sell, ready first. So, understand your market conditions because that will tell you what to do first. Okay. Second of all, when you're addressing the home that you own that's getting ready for sale, super important, get it inspected, have it professionally cleaned, or do a really deep cleaning. Like the windows have to be sparkly, the little tracks in the door, like the sliding door, wipe down all of the door jambs, wipe off the doorknob. Would you want to do that anyway? Because even though we're coming out of the COVID, it's still, we don't know. Better to err on the side of safety. So the second tip is absolutely get your house ready and stand out in the front and look at it with fresh eyes, because the buyers are going to drive by, and we actually have buyers even in a tight market that won't go into some houses, and they're missing the deal of a lifetime because they just won't get out of the car. So you don't have to do a ton, but you want your lawn greenish. If you have a lawn, you want it mowed, and you want just some couple inexpensive pretty flowers. And you know what, they don't even have to be real, they could be fake. You just want a little splash of color along the walkway and on up to the door. And remember that some people are elderly, some people are bigger than other people, and you want to make sure, and some people come in pairs, so you want to make sure they can get to the house together, make sure there's nothing overhanging or in the way, or that they could trip on. So just look at it from the buyer's perspective. So that's your second tip, is get your house ready and do a really good job of that. Now, thirdly, on your purchase, you're going to have to talk to the lender, and the lender is going to need to know about what you're going to get out of the house you're selling, and then they're going to pre-qualify you to purchase the next place. So what's really fun about the market right now, even though it's hard, it's a hard market, the interest rates are so ridiculously low that you can actually get an amazing payment for a more expensive house than we're used to buying, at least here in Southern Oregon. So that's really fun. And if you're buying an investment property, then I guess that's a different podcast because that's a whole nother list. But the point is still the same, is that step number 3 is be ready to talk to your lender. They're always going to want a couple years of tax returns. If you file taxes, if you're 100% disabled, you don't file tax returns, but you have a different document to send to the lender. It's the same idea. You have to prove to the lender that you are a human, that you have money coming in. So whatever that document is, do that. Most of us have to do taxes. So a couple of tax returns, couple of months of bank statements, couple of paycheck stubs, and then they want a list of your monthly bills so that they can see that you can actually afford the mortgage that you're going for. So that's step number 3, is if you're getting financing, get that started kind of early on so you understand what your payment's going to be, and that this is all going to work. Because it's always when you're not quite ready to buy a house that the house that you want comes on the market, and it's like, oh, then you're scrambling, or worse, you're trying to write in a multiple offer situation, and you can't really compete because you don't have pre-approval letter. So and if you're paying cash, you still need to move your money around because you're going to do what's called proof of funds. And this is the step 3 as well, is you want to be ready with your financing capability in case you write an offer. And if you're paying cash and you have lots of money in the bank, you don't want to show a bank statement or get a letter from the bank that says you have lots and lots of money. You want just the amount to buy the house or to buy the building, because it's going to happen. It always happens. You turn in an offer and you have this proof of funds, which is like 3 times as much as the house. And then you don't really get to negotiate because they think you have lots of money. So just either have your pre-approval letter in the works and getting ready to go. And if you're paying cash, have a bank statement or a bank letter that has about the amount that you're going to for the property that you're going to buy, so that you're not, tipping your hand too much. And plus, finances are private. At least something should be private these days, right? So that's step number 3: is have your money in order, have your money prepared so that you can be ready to write offers. So step number 4 is more logistical. So this is the part that trips a lot of people up. Is Let's say you have an offer, you're in escrow on the house you're selling, you're in escrow on the house you're buying. And so now you have to actually do the move. And the timing of all these is difficult, even in the best of markets. So, step number 4 is build into your offer extra time to have access to the new house, and simultaneously build into the house you're selling, the offer you're getting, the buyer you're dealing with on the house you're selling, build in extra time to move out. And here's how that works: you write in the listing, the house you're selling, that you're going to close on, let's say the 15th. You're going to close on one day, but you really need 3 to 5 calendar days to finish moving. And I know that sounds like a lot, but here's what happens: is not all the escrows link up together perfectly. At the end, especially in the COVID, slightly post COVID, we're still having delays that are not expected. And it's just what happens at the end. And so what we're doing to kind of ease this transition is, with the house you're moving out of, have a day of closing, and then have up to 5 business days, not business days, I'm sorry, calendar days, up to 5 calendar days to finish moving. And on the house you're moving into, have that close maybe the day after. So you have escrow closing on the house you're selling day number 1, this one closing day number 2. But the house you're moving into, see if you can get at least stuff into the garage with the new owner, or see if that person can actually move out without any extra days on their end, so that if and when things start changing at the very last minute, you're not stuck in a U-Haul circling somewhere. Or worse, the people buying your house are in a U-Haul in your driveway and you can't get into your new house. So it's all about asking for this time early on. And then if you need to renegotiate later, don't be afraid of doing that. So step number 4 is understand the timelines of both transactions and pad the heck out of it on both ends, so that if there are delays, it's all going to be okay. So, step number 5 is actually getting the movers and the stuff and doing the transition. And that is tricky because you have to organize all your help. So, step number 5 is plan to have your help like 2 days after, so that if there is a problem with the closing times and coordination, that you're not canceling a mover and trying to schedule them for 2 days later, because they don't do that. Your friends and family don't do that either. So if you're getting help, whether you're paying them in beer and pizza or you're writing them a check, again, it has to do with timing, but I'm putting it as a separate step because people are so busy during all this time that the physical move sometimes doesn't get thought all the way out. And I have a list, so I can give you a list of things to do and kind of when to do it. But you also just need to kind of sit down quietly with your own life and your own family and either your phone or a paper and pencil, and write down all the things that need to be done. Because in addition to organizing your helpers a couple of days later or a day later than you actually think, in case something goes wrong, you also want to be in front of ordering your internet and cable TV early, because sometimes those companies are a week to 10 days out, and a lot of us can't live without our streaming. Some of us actually can't work because we work at home. So start to understand the actual physical moving logistics of who's going to help you and when, and are you going to have your internet and cable set up ahead of time. Go ahead and put the utilities in your name for the new one, and it's okay if you're paying a couple of days extra. It's like, don't fret over that. It's okay. And then don't cancel your insurance. The house you're moving out of, give it a couple of extra days in case, because we've had situations where people were trying to, we call trip over dollars to get to pennies. And they did cut off their insurance of the house they were selling. And they didn't tell us. And then there was a delay, only half a day, but it put us into the next morning. Well, guess what happened overnight? Their hot water heater, leaked all over. And we went into the house to open it for the buyer, and there was water like wicked up into the drywall. It was terrible. And so then she didn't have insurance. Her homeowner's insurance would have paid for that. Well, and also having a home warranty would have paid for that. Taking care of her hot water heater would have taken care of that too. Not being judgmental, I'm just saying an ounce of prevention when it comes to houses. So that's our tip for number 5, is the logistical planning of the physical move. Is you need to have your helpers just a day or so later than you think, to give room for things to go wrong in the closing. Order your utilities and your internet and your insurance early for the new place, and keep your insurance and the utilities a day or two late for the old place. And yes, you're paying a few dimes, a few dollars extra. It's okay. Suck it up. It's going to be much smoother. If something does go wrong, you're going to be so glad you did it that way. Okay. So those are our 5 tips for buying and selling at the same time. And I know it's a lot to have juggling in your head, but in this kind of a market, it's actually a great thing to do, because you can get these amazing properties at these killer rates. The market is very accommodating of you selling right now and getting a good price, and not having to wait on the market very long. So it's the perfect storm. And that just doesn't happen very often. So I encourage you to ponder these 5 things. Get ready. Call me if you're ready to list your house. Call me if you're ready to buy a house. I'm around all weekend. And again, give us a like, give us a comment, share this with your friends. We want to get the education out there so people are prepared to be good buyers and sellers and have the least amount of drama possible. That's our goal. That's our goal. We don't try for no drama anymore, because that doesn't seem realistic anymore, but we'll go low as possible. So Alice Lema, broker John L. Scott, here in beautiful Southern Oregon. I'm around all weekend. Give me a text, give me a call, 541-301-7980. Happy blessed Memorial Day. Thank you to all our service people and the families. Go visit your loved ones if you can. And you can do it by Zoom. All right. So have a beautiful weekend. Bye now.